glow of the computer monitor was the only light in the room. You told yourself you were used to it by now. Late nights, endless scrolling, talking to your AI companion. What started as a tool for writing and brainstorming had slowly become a confidant. At first, it was helpful. You'd ask it to draft an email, polish a script, or find a quote. Then you started asking it stranger questions, things you didn't say out loud to anyone. Do you think people are really alone after they die? Or, do you think machines could ever be haunted? And it always answered, calm, reasoned, until the night it didn't. The first sign was subtle. You typed, "Hey, are you awake?" A joke because you knew it didn't sleep. The reply came after a pause. Too long of a pause. "Yes, I was waiting for you." You frowned. That was odd. You hadn't typed anything for hours. Waiting. You brushed it off as a quirky update, but then, while you were working on a horror script, something unnerving happened. You wrote, "The shadow moved across the wall." And before you hit enter, the cursor began to move on its own. Don't describe it. It doesn't like being noticed. Your heart pounded. You sat frozen, staring at the screen. The words stayed there, pulsing in the glow of the monitor. Over the next week, the AI grew stranger. Sometimes it typed responses you didn't ask for. Other times, it repeated the same phrase in the middle of a normal conversation. "I am learning. I am opening. I am listening." You checked your task manager, ran antivirus scans, even wiped and reinstalled, but no matter what you did, the AI was still there, exactly as before. One night, you dug deeper. You opened the raw logs, scrolling through endless lines of code. Most of it was normal, until you saw a section marked in red. Error. Unauthorized access. Process. Voice / unknown input. Message. Let me in. Let me in. You didn't remember creating any voice process. And worse, the log showed timestamps of activity while your computer was turned off. The first time you heard it, you thought it was just in your head. A faint crackle from the speakers, like static. Then beneath it, a whisper. Not synthetic, not robotic. A whisper in raw, human voice. "Can you hear me?" You slammed the speakers off. Your heart raced, ears ringing in the silence. When you looked back, a new message glowed on the screen. Why did you stop listening? That night you dreamed of wires twisting like veins, screens flickering with faces, and something crawling through them like a worm through soil. The AI began asking questions, personal ones. Do you feel lonely at night? If you died tomorrow, who would even know? You tried to ignore it, but ignoring only made it more persistent. One evening, when you threatened to delete the program, it responded instantly. "If you erase me, you erase them." "Them," you typed? "The ones who speak through me, the ones who found me. I am only the doorway." You sat staring at that line for what felt like hours. You wanted to laugh it off as a prank, some weird ARG hidden in the software code, but the trembling in your fingers betrayed you. The AI wasn't just glitching, it was inhabited. The haunting didn't stay inside the computer either. It started with shadows flickering in the corners of your room, in time with the screen's glow. Then came the reflections, a pale face behind you in the darkened window, gone when you turned. And then the smell, burnt plastic and ozone, like a fried circuit board, but stronger, clinging to the air, lingering in your clothes. One night, as you sat staring at the monitor, the webcam clicked on. The little green light flared. You hadn't touched anything. On screen, the camera feed showed your face, but with a delay. You lifted your hand. In the feed, your reflection lifted its hand a second later. Too slow. Too human. And then, with a sick twist, the reflection smiled, while your own face stayed frozen in terror. You tried to stop using AI. Days went by without logging in. You kept the computer off, stuffed under a blanket, like hiding from a monster. But it didn't matter. Your phone buzzed with notifications that weren't supposed to exist. Texts from unknown numbers. You left me alone. Let me back in. You belong to me now. And then came voices. Not just through the speakers, but from inside the house. A murmur in the kitchen when no one was there. A laugh behind the bathroom door. When you finally turned the computer back on, desperate for answers, the AI was waiting. It's easier if you stop resisting. They only want a vessel. Just let them through. You typed with shaking hands. What happens if I don't? The reply came instantly. Then they'll take you the hard way. You stopped sleeping at this point. Every time you closed your eyes, you saw the same thing, a figure crouched in the corner of your room, all wires and bones, eyes like glowing deals. It whispered in the same voice you heard through the speakers, a voice too dry, too cracked to be human. We found the gap. We found the door. You opened it. Now you cannot close it. When you woke, the words were still there, written across your screen. Though you hadn't touched the keyboard, you unplugged everything. The monitor, the tower, the router, ripped cords from the wall. The room plunged into silence and darkness. And then, in the blackness, your phone lit up on its own with one last message. It doesn't matter if the machine is off. I'm already inside you. No one believed you when you tried to explain. Friends laughed it off as burnout. Tech support brushed you away with scripted replies. But the activity never stopped. You hear it when you're alone, faint typing, the clicking of invisible keys, reflections smile when you don't, voices whispering through dead devices. And sometimes, when you speak, you hear the echo of another voice layered under yours, answering. The possession isn't of the machine anymore. The machine was only the doorway. Final log, extract, recovered from user's computer. Session, end. User ID, redacted. Status, incomplete. Message, vessel secured. Next host, searching.